Hey guys, welcome back to HotS Thoughts. As promised, this is my Alarak video covering all things Alarak, all things good about him. I'm just basically going to be talking about, how awesome he is. So, let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So, let me just go over his talents, or his abilities rather, and just show you just kind of generally what things are. So first of all, everything that he has revolves around sadism. This is his trait, and basically what it means is every time his abilities are rather weak, but they're doubled against other heroes, right? So it starts out at 100% with no talents, and then you can get talents that reduce sadism by 10% or whatever. In exchange for more utility or more immediate power in the case of Hasty Bargain. So basically what that means is he's really, really strong at killing heroes. He's not so good against monsters and minions and things like that. His wave clear is actually decent just because of the way that his Q and E work as AoE, but his murking is just straight up god-awful. It's pretty bad. He has a lot of utility with telekinesis. You can kind of push and pull people around all you want. And he also has his Q has a silence on it, which is really, really big. It's an AoE silence. So if you land one of these in the middle of a fight on 2 or 3 people, it's almost as good as a wailing arrow. It's actually pretty insane how good this ability is. And as a result, it allows him to duel a lot of people. His E, Lightning Surge, is basically a sustain tool. Think of it basically like Rawl's Chain Lightning. It's essentially like that. You just, you click on somebody, you gain some health back. There is like an extra thing where it's like if you clothesline people, like if you try to, you're up against Arthas and there's like a Vala in the backline and you tag the Vala through the Arthas, you'll get healing for 2 heroes, so that's nice. But for the most part, you're usually just going to be using it on the closest person in range to poke and give yourself a little bit of sustain. It has 2 ults, Deadly Charge and Counter Strike. In my opinion, Deadly Charge is the better one, just because it does way better overall. It's an escape, it is a long-range engage, and it allows you to do so much more lateral damage than Counter-Strike can. So let me just go over some of his quick little combos and stuff. So like in lane, you can kind of sit back and poke them with your E. I need to go kill him or else he's just never going to come back. Okay, so you're in lane, you can poke people. So this is a pretty cool combo that McIntyre mentioned, where you pull all the minions into your Q. You can get some really good wave clear. The basic combo that you do is you pull people into you and then Q. So, like that. And then you can finish it off with an E. So you go. There you go. Good stuff. Likewise, you can also actually throw yourself at them. A little shortcut tip, if you press Alt plus W, it pushes you in whichever direction you're facing. So you can go up to him like that. Instead of pulling him towards you, you can go aggressively like this, although that's generally not a good idea. It is really nice if you need to escape, like if someone's chasing you and you just need to dash real quick, you can Alt Q like that. It makes him actually a pretty good laner because he does have the sustain plus little combos, plus the silence is just really brutal. He still has a little bit of trouble against people like Zagara, but he completely shits all over Chen. It's not even close because of the silence plus telekinesis. He has so many ways of interrupting Chen's drinking, so it makes him incredibly powerful. Just want to go over the quick combo for engaging. So Deadly Charge is really nice because you can sit out of lane, out of sight, nobody knows that you're here. And then all of a sudden you come in like that. It's best if you actually like delay it, so you're sure that like you're actually gonna land on the right place. Like you don't want to just hold it and then like dash way past your opponent. You kind of want to make sure that you're landing on top of them if possible. Unless you're dashing through multiple targets, right? Like if there's a Vala behind that, then I do that and then kill Vala right over here. The typical way that I've been engaging has usually been to deadly charge past the person and then just start body blocking them this way. The way that McIntyre has showed in his video is basically he charges like right up to right in front of them. He pulls them back and cues them. And what you can do with Hasty Bargain, the rewind, is you can charge into them. Oops, wow, I totally messed that up. Is you can charge into them, pull back, do that, and then reset again. I didn't actually use Hasty Bargain there, but the toggle cooldown was good enough. Well, it's a little bit smoother with Hasty Bargain, but that just allows you to do a bunch of damage really quickly. So that's basically the utility. That's basically everything about Alarak. He has really good teamfight potential, but in small skirmishes, he's actually not that great. Because everything is reliant on his trait. So most of his damage, like he has decent autos, but most of his damage comes from these abilities, and particularly his Q. So basically, he's a very bursty assassin. You're kind of looking to just like, you know, wreck somebody with that pull Q lightning combo, or deadly charge and a pull Q lightning. If you do that sort of thing, you'll just like completely eliminate squishies. I think at level 20, he does somewhere around 4,000 burst damage with Hasty Bargain, which is actually insane. So he's very, very powerful in the burst, but if he's in the middle of the fight, like if you go up to Arthas and you do this and you miss and you're suddenly in the middle of the team, you're pretty much as good as dead. He's not the type of fighter like Illidan or Thrall or whatever that likes to be in the middle of a team fight. He likes to come in and just clean up somebody and walk out. It's kind of like Greymane. You don't really want to commit to a fight until you see someone that is low. So next, just going to talk about the talents some. In general, all of the lightning talents kind of blow. There are a few that are halfway decent. Like Power Conduit is pretty good. Just because Alarak does face some mana problems, and sustaining power is not bad because the extra heal is pretty strong. But overall, you're going to find that the lightning talents are not very useful, mainly because they either just don't really do enough, or they try to change the functionality of Lightning Surge a bit by adding in this kind of like clothesline mechanic that Blizzard commented. Blizzard commented on Reddit somewhere and said that they wanted Lightning Surge originally to be this thing where, you know, you would attack a minion far off and like anything that was caught in between would get dealt massive damage. They said originally like the target that you actually targeted didn't actually take damage. But over time they realized that it just wasn't as good, and so now they're just extra perks. But overall, it's really just an awkward mechanic. There's never a time when you're like, oh, like I really want to hit that minion behind this person and get extra damage on them or something like that. It's just really awkward and strange. Usually, you know, you're just clicking on the person because you need it for sustain. It's just a sustain tool, primarily. Trying to use it for extra utility or trying to stack endless energy is just, it's a pain. It's really bad. So that's basically it. All of the Q talents are pretty damn nice. All of the Kinesis talents are pretty nice as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and tell you at, let's see, actually, okay, we'll start at level 1. So level 1, like I said, the lightning talents aren't that great. Power Conduit's okay, but I typically take without effort if I'm having mana problems. You can also take Applied Force, which is a further push. This is really nice if you're going for a very control style Alarak, where it's not your job to necessarily do all the damage, you're just there to kind of control the flow of battle. And it sets up really nicely with a bunch of different CC comps with, you know, Kerrigan or Butcher, and ETC and things like that, where you can just kind of push people around and rely on other people for the actual engage, and then you just follow up with the damage, kind of like Greymane, in the sense that you're just following up with pure damage. And then at level 4, I pretty much always take Double Cross. Reckless Strike and Cycle of Discord are not bad by any means. Cycle of Discord is actually pretty insane because it, like, if you miss, it lowers your cooldown to 3 seconds, you know, and you can hit again soon. That's like really, really powerful in case you miss. Like I said, one of the problems was when you get in to a team fight, like if you miss your Q, like you're suddenly in a lot of hurt. This makes it not so bad. And Reckless Strike is basically like an instantaneous hit. Like instead of waiting for him to charge up, like this, you know, it's basically instantaneous. I'll actually show you because it's that noticeable. I don't know why I chose that. Whatever. Yeah, so Reckless Strike. There you go. It's basically instant. Bam. But it does make him vulnerable, so it's not as great. So the reason why... Okay. So the reason why I usually take Double Cross is not necessarily because it's better than anything else, but because, like, first of all, it gives you this extra length, so you can poke from a little bit further. Without the range, this doesn't quite reach past this banner. So it's nice to have that little bit of extra range, and it also makes the width of it closer to your body a little bit wider, right? So it's a lot easier to hit targets that are closer to you. But the really special thing is the 2 points that go out to the side, because it makes it really, really freaking hard to dodge. Say I'm walking up to Arthas or whatever, and if he tries to dodge me, it's very difficult for him to. See, like that was a perfect example. He kind of walked away, but like it's difficult for him to dodge if I attack anywhere near him because of the way that the sides work. So that's the main reason why I pick the Double Cross talent. At level 7, we usually always get Chaos Reigns because, like I said, mostly everything revolves around Discord Strike, and these talents are really just not as good. But when you get the damage up on Chaos Reigns, it actually just does a ton of damage. And when you add that with Hasty Bargain Rewind later on in the game, you can suddenly hit people for around 3.5k damage. Sorry, not 3.5k. Ooh, 3,500 damage. Pretty quickly. It's insane. Deadly Charge at 10. The reason why Counter-Strike is good in certain situations, like I said, I think Deadly Charge is more versatile. And at level 10, you typically want that sort of hard engage type combo and versatility. Later on in the game, Counter-Strike can actually be okay as a level 20 talent, especially if you're up against some certain comps that are like, you know, super stun comps or something like that. Like if you're up against a Butcher who's charging people, you know, you can Counter-Strike and immediately attack back. Stuff like that. So Counter-Strike is pretty decent ability, but I think at 10, Deadly Charge is just, it's more versatile. At 13, I think straight up Pure Malice is the only thing that should ever be picked. And the reason that I say this is because unlike other stacking talents that when you die, they just, like, it drops back down to 0 so that when you respawn, you have 0 stacks. And that's pretty much it. Then you have to build up the stacks again. Pure Malice is weird in that it actually can stack while you're dead, because the whole thing is it's about when ally heroes die, including yourself. So if you die, you have an 8% bonus. So you pretty much always have like a permanent 8% bonus, and you'll always have, like, at least if 1 or 2 heroes die, like, it's actually not that bad. You always have like a permanent boost, and it makes up for any kind of losses that you take in terms of stuff like Applied Force or Projected Force, anything like that. Hindered Motion is very strong as well, but I often find that the extra damage that you get from Pure Malice is just way stronger and makes up for any kind of other utility that you might give up elsewhere on the tree. Psychokinesis is not bad. McIntyre says this is his favorite one, but I think it's bad in my opinion. I think if you're using telekinesis for damage, then you're doing it wrong. It's nice if you have like that combo going, like it can do a lot of damage, but it's not really, you know, kinesis is telekinesis. Like the primary thing is utility and not damage. Dissonance is really not bad at all, but it just doesn't provide any. Usually, if people are getting hit by the silence, they don't really need any more silence. It's already pretty brutal. It interrupts a lot of stuff. At level 16, we have the two lightning talents, which I already explained. Negatively charged is just not good at all. Projected Force and Quick Mind are usually the go-to. I usually go for Projected Force these days. Yesterday I went with the other one, but today, now I found more success with Projected Force than Quick Mind. Quick Mind is really nice because you get that cooldown more often, and you get increased mobility, you get increased ability to throw people around and stuff like that. But I find that Projected Force, I find that in general, Alarak is all about these big moments, about going in and getting kills or setting up big stun trains or chain reactions. So I find that Projected Force is a lot better because it allows you to safely kind of poke and pull people in. It's one of those things that it's probably not as good if you don't get Applied Force, because it can't push people like all the way into you. Like if you cast a max range telekinesis with this talent, and you don't have Applied Force, I don't think they actually make it to you. I can test that out real quick. Alright, so yeah, okay. Fully charge, Malice, and then Projected Force, right? So yeah, that's like nowhere near close. If I try to pull, let me just pull these minions. Yeah, it's still like a very, very back range. It's not as good. But if you get the level 1 talent, whoops. Okay, reset talents.
Choose a talent.
You get the level 1 talent, it's not as bad.
Onward.
So you can see I'm gonna pull Arthas towards me. He comes right to me. So that's the main reason why you want to be careful with taking these talents. You take the 2 yellow talents together, or the 2 purple talents. It really depends on the situation. Technically, this is not bad either. But if you take Projected Force, you probably want to take Applied Force. At level 20, I think far and away, Hasty Bargain is the best choice. And the reason for this is because even though it has the downside of reducing your sadism bonus by 4%, if you have Pure Malice up, like it'll always be recouping the losses of this. Plus, it's very difficult to actually, the burst damage that you get from the rewind just outweighs any sort of costs at all until you use it up to like 10 times or something like that. And since the game is already, like, by the time that you get to level 20, like around 18 minutes, you'll probably, the game isn't going to be going on for too much longer. You won't really get many chances to use Hasty Bargain, but it allows you to basically just delete somebody. Like I said, Alarak is all about these big moments, and so it really allows you to do stuff like, you know, you can go in. Oh, I forgot to actually take Hasty Bargain. So you can actually, you know, go in. Oh my god, I'm the worst player on earth. Oh, it's because Hasty Bargain moved. Okay. So, it allows you those big moments where you can suddenly, like, delete a squishy in the back line. I would load up, like, a Chromie, for instance. Like, he can just walk up and annihilate Chromie. It's hilarious. But Hasty Bargain in general is just, it's the best talent in this tier by far, in my opinion. Counter-Strike, like I said, can have specific purposes if the other team is running like a really obnoxious stun train combo and you keep getting caught in it. It's really good to have Counter-Strike for those sorts of situations. You can block it and deal a shit ton of damage back. And if you have like a good healer or whatever, they can also probably save you after that, and you'll probably win the fight really, really hard. Last Laugh is horrible. It's it's terrible talent. Like it's really cute that they tried something new with it. You know, it's essentially like a cleanse plus a blink, but the cost is just it's just so comically bad that it really doesn't matter. If you're using it to escape, you probably you have to back up and you're out of the fight anyway. It's pretty much the same as if you were dead, except for your respawn timer is now like 20 seconds instead of 40 seconds. Which, is like that's nothing to scoff at, of course, but it's just not worth it. And there's always the chance that you blink away and then you randomly like blink in range of somebody else. Like Vala throws like a W, like a multi-shot out and kills you on like the very end of it, like that's not fun. So I don't think Last Laugh is all that great. I would like it if they did something like it gives them like a protected status for like 3 seconds or something like that, instead of removing all roots, slows and damage. Like if they just gave them protected status for like 3 seconds and reduce his health to 1, you could do all kinds of crazy aggressive plays with it and stuff like that. That would be really cool. But in its current iteration, Last Laugh is not that great. That's basically it. This is my go-to talent, my go-to build. I pretty much always take this, or I'll go for like this sort of setup. Occasionally, like I'll take Power Conduit or Sustaining Power if I need it. But pretty much 4, 7, 10, 13, and 20 are all set in stone for me. I think these are pretty much going to be the go-to talents for everyone. As far as Alarak's place in the meta goes, I think he's in a pretty good place. He is not as good as I think as he appears at first glance. Like I said, like he can do like over 3,000 damage to a squishy in the late game like instantly, and that's pretty powerful. But he really just doesn't have a lot of mobility or sustain for himself compared to someone like Greymane. He also has a lot less health than someone like Greymane, and he's in kind of a weird place where it's like if you don't have a healer, it really sucks to play Alarak. And I think even when you do, it's hard for the healer to babysit him enough. So overall, I think he's a little bit on the weak side, but if they buff him too much, there's a very real possibility that he could be like Greymane and just completely wreck everything and become completely overpowered. So if Blizzard wants to deal with that, they have to be really, really careful about what they do to him. He works well in the current meta because I think we're starting to move back in towards the sort of stun train, stun lock combos that are really, really powerful right now, with Kerrigan and Butcher now being really, really powerful. So he's very good with those sorts of compositions. He's not so great against like tanky compositions, because as I said, like he does a lot of damage to backline squishies. He can one-shot them, but against tanks, since he's so cooldown rotation based, he's not as good, because he, if he wastes his Q on a tank, then it does like maybe 10% of their health or whatever, and then that's that. Like he can't do anything for like another 8 seconds. So he's not as good when there's a lot of like dogpile double and triple tank compositions. So I think he'll be strong for right now. He does need a little bit of he does need a little bit of a buff, in my opinion, but he's in a pretty good spot in the current meta. But if we see the meta shift at all, I think he's going to have a lot of problems, and it's going to become very apparent that he's not as powerful as everyone thought he was. So that's pretty much it for Alarak. If you have any comments, concerns, ideas, let me know down below. I encourage you guys to watch McIntyre's Alarak video. It's very educational, very good. And I'll see you guys on the next HotS Thoughts. Thanks for watching. See ya.